Hi, and welcome to the Market Alert for Wednesday, the 19th of October 2022. This is going to be a bit of a whistle-stop one because I want to get the alert out before we get the UK CPI numbers at 7 a.m. So I'm going to go through this quite quickly today. So let's get cracking and have a look at the headlines and what the markets did during yesterday. So stocks rose as recession odds hit 100%. As the economy is as strong as hell, apparently. Economic indicators are not pointing to a recession, or are they? Well, I would say they definitely were, but it's amazing how they bring the markets up. Equity rebound continues on strong earnings. Well, that's any accountant can fiddle the figures and cook the books to show strong earnings. And flat dollar and yields. And finally, US stocks finished higher, but with price action choppy amid earnings and mixed economic data. So there we go. So it's the earnings season, and that's why the market's moving higher, apparently, along with the short squeeze, as we've seen of late. Yes, this is the reason for whistling through this one. Want to get this out before we get the CPI numbers. They're forecast to go back into double numbers and could be higher than the forecast at 10% there as well. Got the core CPI and the RPI as well, which are all out at the same time, which is going to be, that's better, 7 a.m. is the CPI. Gold-silver ratio is sideways, so let's get on and have a look at the stock markets. So in the Dow yesterday, we can see the market moving higher, trading up to that 89% and 50 EMA that we had drawn in yesterday morning, and the market stopping there. Overnight, a bit of weakness, but all markets waiting for those crucial CPI numbers at 7 a.m. Yesterday, the Dow dropped all the way down to the high. You can see how when we've got a bull market, such as, well, bull market, an up move is more the point. It's a bear market with a short-term up move. The market loves the previous day's high just as much as in the down move. It likes the previous day's low to try and find support. And you can see here we came back to the high yesterday and found support there just as much as we did overnight as well. So price is dropping down to the high and then putting in 89% and then trading back up 89, 78% as well. Market's currently sitting on the close. The DP is very important, but given the fact that we've been up now for, let me just move this over. We've been moving up for the last 4 days. We're probably due for a bit of a down day and a bit of a breather, and we've got indicators in place where this could happen. In the German DAX, similar picture. We're at 62 of the big swing there. And you can see we've got some supply as well. The market a bit weakish overnight, but we managed to get through that 50 EMA and the 89%. But they certainly had to absorb some selling coming into the market, as indicated here by the supply. So a bit of resistance there. In the 30-minute charts, you'll see that prices moved up strongly on the previous overnight, which we looked at yesterday. And they got into a bit of a sideways move and then eventually moved up mid-morning and then gave all of this back in the afternoon. And it was interesting, I actually traded this from the top and then the market rebound and took me out, which was really galling, but I was preoccupied, which I'll talk about in just a moment. We then got the bounce and the triple top here in the DAX, but at the moment coming back below the close, and the 20 MA. 5-minute chart, you can see more of this. Yesterday, don't forget, we had that big move to the upside. And then when the cash market opened, we traded sideways for about 20 minutes or so before the market moved up. And then moved all the way back down, putting in an 89% retracement oversold, but with the momentum starting to switch. Prices then moved up all the way through mid-morning, and then in the afternoon we had a double top here with a major divergence, and the market following the Dow to the downside, and then moving back up in the evening. But it was I got taken out as the market retraced here. Which is a real nuisance because it then continued on lower. But let's have a look at yesterday's trades. Well, it doesn't make for pretty reading, but I'm not hiding anything. I just put it all out there. And yesterday morning I couldn't get into the rhythm of it because As I've said in the market alert recently, I've had a bereavement in the family. I'm a trustee of the estate, and I was busy writing up a report from a meeting with solicitors the day before about the inheritance tax situation. And I was doing research on that while I was trying to trade, and I've come to the conclusion that I can't multitask, so I must be a real chap, as it were. Impossible to do two things, and I paid for it yesterday, as you can see. A bit of a mess. It doesn't make any difference because I know that I can just get back into the rhythm, and the profits will come. But 39 down from the day before, still a positive profit factor there of 1.22, and we've got 77 there, 31 win-loss ratio. But you can see exactly what happened, of a winning trade and then gave it back. But again, you've got to keep your eyes on the longer-term gold here, and you can see from the 19th of January, 33,000 in profits from a 10,000 account, 2.5, and that's with a 56.44 win-loss ratio, so no big deal. You have these days, and like I say, if you're distracted, it makes it even worse, because you should get into the rhythm of what the market's actually doing. So there you go, warts and all, but like I say, long term, not a problem at all. You get these odd blips, and you just roll with it and go with it. In the S&P, similar picture. We've got, let me just draw the fibs back in on this one, not save them. We're at 89%, real supply. And we're down on the overnight there. You can see coming back below the close as well. So we dropped yesterday afternoon. We managed to bounce back up. And we've got a double top in here as well at the high. And the market is then moving to the downside. In the FTSE 100, also up at 78% supply in this market as well. And down on the overnight after yesterday, coming off the highs. We moved up in the pre-market, then mid-morning we moved higher, and then we sold all the way back down to the close. Inside of here we have a retracement, and then the market's made its way back up. But obviously very important for the CPI numbers, this market waiting at the moment. In the GBP JPY, the market through yesterday's high, which you can see there, going through this as the dollar was sideways to lower, and we sold off initially, and then we made our way back. Actually, this is interesting because that's not what happened at all, is it? Let's just go back to that. We went through the high. We can see this here, and there it is. So we went through the high, but we did that in the pre-market session, didn't we? Which is here in the Asian session, and then the market sold off and then tried to make its way back, and that's why you're seeing this close off the high. But overnight, prices again weakish because say everything's waiting for these numbers from the UK. And the pound the same. It was up on the overnight, didn't finish on the highs, and started to come back. And of course now they're trying to get rid of Truss, aren't they, and bring back Boris from what we can see on the mainstream. That'll be an interesting one if they do that. Anyway, pound up in the pre-market, down in the main session, and then stuck in a range with all of the political shenanigans in Downing Street. Market sideways there overnight. And finally, quick whistle-stop tour through the metals. Silver up a bit yesterday above the 5-bar moving average, but down overnight as the dollar starts to gain strength once more. Choppy session, which you can see there, up, then it was down, then back up, and then sold as the LBMA fix came in at 1 p.m, and then back down on the overnight. Gold the same, heading back down to that 78% retracement, and there again you can see choppy session up in Asia, and then down in London, and further down in New York, and then overnight down again to the low where the market's just getting a bit of support there. Meanwhile, in the dollar, starting to turn around with demand for yesterday. Overnight prices moving to the upside, and you can see that there. So coming off the low of Monday, and we've got this low here that the market made in yesterday's overnight session as well. So coming off that at the moment and above the DP, waiting for the inflation numbers, see if the pound's going to either rally or tank, as we all are. So I'm going to cut it short there, and let's see what those numbers are going to be at 7 a.m. And with that, as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.